Hi, I'm Chris. This is my first vinyl video. I'm a second-time vinyl collector. I bought a lot of records through the 80s and 90s. That dropped away as I started buying CDs and then digital downloads. But recently I've decided that I'm going to go back to vinyl. I've always had a turntable, although I just got a new one. And I've bought a few records, always, but I've really just refocused my music buying in that direction. And I pretty much restrict my buying to New Zealand releases. That keeps the costs in check, and that's my passion, is local music, New Zealand music. So I thought I'd make my first video, having come across the vinyl community on YouTube, and run through some of my recent vinyl finds. So first up is Robert Scott, Ends Run Together, which is what's playing now. This Robert Scott is from the Clean and from the Bats, and I think this is his fourth solo album. It's out on Flying Nun. Flying Nun has just recently had a bit of a rebirth. It's been rebought by its original founder, Roger Shepherd. They've started releasing new material from new bands and also re-releasing some of the older classic Flying Nun back catalogue that's been unavailable for a while. This is new from Robert Scott. It covers everything from classic Flying Nun pop to some instrumental folk influence material and even a little bit of kind of krautrock in there as well. It's a nice album that comes with a digital download. The Overflow is from Humphreys and Keen. Humphreys and Keen were both members of the Able Tasmans, another Flying Nun band. And this album, The Overflow, I think is a bit of an overlooked New Zealand classic. It's lush pop, strings and orchestration, really beautiful songs. It came out a few years ago, but it's only had a vinyl release in the last year or so, and it's well worth picking up. It sounds fantastic on vinyl. This is My Electric Family from Bachelorette. Bachelorette is a solo project. The woman is Annabelle Alpers. I think this is her third album. She's also put out a couple of EPs. This was released on Drag City in the US, hence the vinyl release. Lots of New Zealand bands can't afford to put stuff out on vinyl. There's no pressing plants in the country. And of all of her albums, this is my favourite of hers. She's augmented on the record by a lot of other musicians. It fills out the sound of the songs, and I think that treatment really suits them. I keep on coming back to this, whereas with their others I like them, but in the end I just find that they're just a little monotone. So this is a great album, My Electric Family. Archhill Records have been putting out fantastic music for a few years now, and over the last year or so they've started putting out vinyl releases as well. This is Books and Magazines from Pine, and it's indie guitar pop. A really nice album actually. It's available as a free download from the Archhill Records website, but they've also put it out as a limited run on 12-inch and only 100 copies of this, so you need to snap those up pretty quickly. This is Collider from Fur Patrol. I've been a fan of this album for a long time. It came out early in the 2000s, I think, and it's overlooked. It's a kind of a slightly indie-tinged rock album. Fur Patrol were fronted by Julia Deans, who's gone on to have a more kind of folky acoustic solo career, but this is really rocky and great kind of crunchy guitar sound. A really good album. And I don't know much about this vinyl release. It's listed on their website as being a rarity for fans. It's got a slightly different track listing than the CD, and I suppose one of the disappointments is that my favourite song on the album, Art of Conversation, isn't on the record. And also, it sounds a little thin. I don't know whether it's the pressing or the mastering, but it just kind of doesn't have the oomph that I'd hoped it would in terms of sound quality. But still a nice find, and I picked it up second hand in mint condition for pretty cheap. This just came today. I had to go to the post office and pick it up because the postie couldn't fit it in the box. It's the 2006 album Solace from Jakob, who play kind of epic guitar soundscapes, I suppose in the vein of Mogwai or something like that, but they're a fantastic band, 3-piece instrumental, and this came out, it only got a vinyl release last year on Conspiracy Records in Belgium. so consequently it cost me an arm and a leg because the cost of postage from Europe is really, really high to get to New Zealand. So here's the CD. That's the original artwork on the CD there, and you can see that they've completely redone the artwork for the album, so it's really lovely pressing. This is the black vinyl. I think there were 500 copies of this pressed. There's also a red vinyl edition which I'd love to get, but only 150 copies of this, and it's been out I think for a couple of years, so I was kind of lucky to pick this up. It took a bit of tracking down. It's a gatefold, so the album's spread out over 4 sides, and I can't wait to hear that. I think it's going to sound great. And finally, not everything I buy is New Zealand material. Sonic Youth are probably my favourite band of all time. This is their latest album. I won't even try to pronounce the title. I would do a disservice to the French language, but it's the soundtrack from, well, it's songs that form part of the soundtrack of this movie. They've extended them and and added to them for the album to turn it into a full release. It's all instrumental. It comes out on their own Sonic Youth records. I've been listening to the MP3s of this for a while, and if you're into that kind of newly instrumental, more experimental side of Sonic Youth, this is for you. And yeah, nice to get it on vinyl at last. So that's my first vinyl video. I hope there'll be many more. Thanks.